Hi guys, welcome back. And today in this video, we're going to talk about TestSprite, an AI agent which can write software test code for us without us writing even a single line of code. We already talked about TestSprite in our earlier videos where we saw how we can pass the URL of our API or maybe the UI application, and then TestSprite can generate the test for us. And you can also interact with TestSprite by just asking questions on the chat, and everything is going to work for you. But now today, we are going to see how TestSprite's new MCP feature is going to leverage the power of the artificial intelligence a level further, and also with the agents a level further, where you can write the test automation code in a more robust fashion. So basically, using this TestSprite MCP server, you are going to let your AI to code, and every single operation is going to be taken care by the TestSprite itself. So this TestSprite MCP server is not only just going to write test code for you, it is also going to help you debugging your test code. I'll tell you what I really mean about that. We know that TestSprite MCP server always run the application which is hosted on the cloud machine. But what if your application is running within your local machine and you wanted to test the application which is hosted in your local machine or within your company? So how can we actually do that? Well, the answer for this is the TestSprite MCP server. And what if you wanted to generate the report of the test execution right from your local machine instead of going to the actual TestSprite portal itself? The answer is this. TestSprite MCP server is going to do it for you using its tooling options available. And also, what if you wanted to debug the test which is failing because of the test execution, and if you want to fix the code right from your local machine? TestSprite MCP server is going to be the answer. And finally, what if you want to generate the test script locally and also store them all in a local code base? TestSprite MCP server is going to do that for you. So in a nutshell, the workflow of the TestSprite MCP server is going to look something like this. The TestSprite MCP server, as like any model context protocol server, is going to be configured within your famous IDEs like Cursor IDE or GitHub Copilot or even Windsurf, whatever that you name it, whichever IDE supports the MCP server. You can configure the TestSprite MCP server as well. And once you configure the TestSprite MCP server, it's going to have a series of toolings which is going to be helpful for you to perform a series of operation, as you can see over here. So TestSprite MCP server is going to create all of these operations without you writing even a single line of code. You are just going to command the Cursor IDE in the chat asking, hey, can you write a front-end test for me? Using TestSprite, and then the TestSprite MCP server kicks in, and then it's going to perform these operations. It's going to help you do a bootstrap operation to understand your application first time, and then it is going to perform a creation of the standard PRD document or the product requirement documentation all by itself by understanding the application. And then it's going to create the test plan for you. It's going to generate the test code, and also it's going to generate the test results. And in any time, if you feel like the test result has got some failure and you can also contribute improving the application's functionality, you can now ask the agent right away to, can you fix this particular code? Then the application code is also going to be fixed for you, and then it is going to be generating the shiny fixed application for you. And then you can run the test one more time to see the improvement. So you can see all of these operations can be done with the power of the TestSprite's MCP server. And also with the TestSprite MCP, you can see that there is going to be a huge improvement with just the coding agent versus the TestSprite MCP server. You will see that there is going to be like 93% features delivered faster than compared to the 42% features delivered with just the coding agents only. And with the TestSprite MCP server, there is this huge improvement happens, which is really amazing. So we are going to see how we can use all of these operations using this TestSprite MCP server, and we'll understand how things work. So for that, we first of all going to configure this TestSprite MCP server within our Visual Studio Code, and then we are going to see how we can do everything. Well, if you have already used the MCP servers like Playwright MCP server or GitHub MCP server, you know how to configure the MCP server. But over here in the TestSprite MCP server, they have made things even more straightforward as well. You see that in the home page, they have got this try MCP free. You can go and click this particular link, and you will see that it is going to go to this install now button over here. So once you hit this install button, it is going to install directly on the cursor or whatever that you wanted to really do that. So if I'm going to go and click this install now, you see that it's going to show you the installation for the cursor. You can just click this add to cursor button, which is going to install the MCP server for you directly on the cursor. But if you are going to be using any other MCP compatible IDE like me, who is going to be using Visual Studio Code for this demonstration, you can just copy this particular things from here, and then you can configure the MCP server. And if you are going to install this MCP server from the standalone package, which is going to be npm package, you can do it from here as well. So they have got all of these details over here. So this is the demonstration. You can go and watch this 10 minutes demo, which is going to show you the details like how it works. So basically, to install this MCP server, you need to first of all install this MCP server in the compatible IDEs. And then you need to have a TestSprite account, and then you need to generate an API key from the TestSprite, because you need to talk with the TestSprite in order to communicate and push the results or generate or run the test and then generate the reports and all those things you can do from the TestSprite portal itself. So all of these you can do from this API key. So these are things that we are going to be doing this particular video, and I will quickly show you how things works. So the first thing is, if you're a fan of Cursor IDE, just go ahead and click this particular add to cursor button, and then click this allow. It is going to install this MCP server for you automatically on the Cursor IDE. And because this is so straightforward, I want to restrict myself to use this particular easiest feature. Rather, I want to use the second one, which is the MCP compatible IDE, because there are chances that you may not be using Cursor IDE. You may be using Windsurf or Kiro or any other compatible MCP server IDEs. So I'm going to be using this particular part this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the TestSprite command from here. And then I'm going to go to my Visual Studio Code, and then I'm going to configure this MCP server over here. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to Command Shift P to see the list of MCP server, or you can also click this particular toolings over here, which is going to bring you up all these toolings that is already been configured within your Visual Studio Code over here. And then you can add more tools from here as well. You see that the add MCP server comes in. You can do that as well. It's up to you, like how you wanted to do that. So if I'm going to go and click this add MCP, it is going to ask you whether you're going to install it from the npm package or the command. I'm going to choose the command over here, and the command is going to be this one, right? Like npx -y, and then the command is this particular part. So I'm going to go copy this. I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to say this is going to be a TestSprite. That's what I'm going to name this particular server. And I want to install this in the global workspace so that you can run in any of the places, even in my cloud desktop for that matter. So now we have got this TestSprite MCP server done. That's it. This is the installation part. It's already in the running state, as you can see over here, right? I'm going to save this particular thing over here. And now, because we need to communicate this TestSprite MCP server with our TestSprite portal itself, we need to have a TestSprite account, and you also need to have an API key. I have already created the TestSprite account. I already have an account, and you can see that we have this particular dashboard. And if you really not created an TestSprite account before, I highly recommend you to click the link below in the video's description, where you have an affiliate link of mine, which will help you to give an 1 month free trial, and you can try all the amazing features that the TestSprite offers. So that's something that you have to do in order to try out this MCP feature. So I highly recommend you to start doing that first. And once you have an account, by clicking that affiliate link over below, you will see an free MCP trial. Make sure you sign it up. And then you can go to the API key section over here, and then you can create a new API key. So I'm going to go click this new API key over here. And I'm going to say API key demo or whatever that you wanted to name it. I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to create this API key. And I got an API key right now, right? So I'm going to copy that. But before that, as you can see, in order for you to add this API key to this particular TestSprite based on their documentation over here, you need to add an env property over here, which is something I have not added it. So I'm going to go ahead and add that, and that's it. So this is going to be the API key. And because we also have got the API key generated, I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to save that. Right. And now if I'm going to start this MCP server, the TestSprite MCP server, it's going to go communicate with my account. So tomorrow, if you're going to be doing this for your account, or maybe you have multiple TestSprite accounts, then you need to uniquely identify this TestSprite account using this API key. That's what this API key is all about, right? So once you have this TestSprite account over here, I'm going to save this, and this is pretty much done. Now, if you go to the toolings over here, you should see all the different tools that we have got, like the built-in tools, the MCP tools, and we have got the MCP Playwright server, which I'm going to just untick for this particular demonstration. We don't even need that. And I'm also going to see the TestSprite server over here. This is the thing that we just configured, and you see that they have got 6 tools over here, and we are going to see how these tools are going to be spinning up automatically by just your command, and the AI agents are going to do all these magic for you. Right, so we have got this. I'm going to remove the SQL server. I don't need that. I don't need the Python as well, Jupyter as well, and I think I also don't need the GitHub for now. Just going to leave that, and I'm going to hit OK. So now I have got all my MCP server configuration done. The last thing is I need to work with an application to see how things work. And you may have a question asking, hey, Karthik, we have already seen the TestSprite demo for the UI testing as well as for the API. What difference does it make from them versus this MCP server? Guess what? In the UI testing done before, you can see that I always use the publicly available domain there, right? But what if your application is hosted within your local server or running within your local machine, and you wanted to test that particular application without sending the data to the TestSprite servers? So this particular MCP server is going to be the answer for that. You are going to be running your application within your local machine, and you are going to let the MCP server to do all these operations for you within your local machine by doing a tunneling with the TestSprite, so that it is going to run things for you on the TestSprite cloud, but still connecting with your local machine. You're not going to be sending any of the private information to the TestSprite cloud. That's what they have told, because they have the security in place. And they have also told that it is going to be analyzing all the code which is going to be running within your machine. They're not going to send any of this information to the server. That's how this MCP server really works. So this application, as you can see over here, is a demonstration application that I have built. It's going to be doing exactly the same thing, and you will see how amazing they are going to be working for you. So I'm going to quickly show you what this application is all about. So if I'm going to open the terminal over here, and I'm going to go to the front end, and I'm going to say npm run dev. This is going to run my application over here. And if I'm going to enter the username and password, whatever it is, I think the username is admin. And if I try to hit login, it's not going to work because it needs a backend as well. So I need to run the backend. So I'm going to go click that, and I'm going to say cd backend, and I'm going to say node server.js. This is going to run the backend server for me. And if I'm going to do the login, you see that the login operation happens. And now I can create an employee. I'm going to say test employee at gmail.com. And the position is going to be tester, and hit the add employee. You see that the employee has been added. Now you can view the employee. You can also edit the employee, and then you can delete the employee. You can also search the employee, and then you can also do a dark and light mode for that matter. You can do all of these over here. This is what this application is all about. It's a very, very super simple application. I want to test this entire application using TestSprite. How can I actually do that? Well, the TestSprite MCP server is going to do all of these for me by understanding the application, getting the information like text tags and stuff, generate the PRD documentation, and also it is going to help me run the test. And all of these are going to happen by just one single command that you're going to be giving. You will see the magic is really going to happen, which is really, really amazing. So for doing that, I'm going to go to our Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to start doing everything from here. So I'm going to say, can you test the front end of my application using TestSprite? And I'm going to add the context to my front end just in case, so that it can be helpful for the agents to get the information that is needed for the TestSprite to really run. And then I'm going to run this particular command over here, and you will see all the magics are going to come up. And while I run this over here, you will notice that it is going to say, okay, so I'll help you first test the front end of your application using TestSprite. First, let me examine the project structure and then set up the testing environment. And now you see that it is understanding the entire application, and it is also going to run the TestSprite bootstrap underscore test tool. So this is the first tool which is going to be invoked from the TestSprite MCP server, which is going to be helpful for me to set up things for the TestSprite to understand what exactly is this. And once I hit continue, you see that there is going to be a new window coming in, and it's going to ask you what is the username and password to log in this particular application, and whether the port that you're running in the local development is correct, and then what is the product specification documentation. I've also created a simple product specification documentation over here, which is basically going to be like what exactly this particular application is doing, what are the backend URLs, and what is the front-end navigations and features and things. This is the very super simple MD file that I have created. But these MD files are going to be helpful to give a context to the MCP server agent to tell what exactly they are going to be doing, right? So I'm going to do that over here. So let me just give the username and password and the product specification documentation. And now I'm going to hit continue. And you see that the moment I click the continue, the upload success is going to be coming up over here, and it will close this particular window. It is not even required anymore. And now everything is going to be taken care by our TestSprite itself. So let's do that one by one. I'm going to hit continue right now. So it is going to do a generate code summary for me. So basically now the TestSprite MCP server is going to generate the code summary by understanding the entire structure of the application. So we'll see what is really going to happen. It has read the login, it's reading the employee form, the employee list, a menu bar, and a package.json. So basically it's reading all the files which is required for the MCP server to understand. Now it is creating a temp folder under the TestSprite test folder. Look at that. It has created a temp folder. And also it is going to create the code summary.json file. Do you see that? It has got the tech stack, the features of this particular application, along with the descriptions and the name, and what are the files which are involved on those features. So every single information which is required for the TestSprite to do the better testing is now available as a code summary.json file. Right now it has got all of these, which is amazing. So I'm going to just keep that over here. And once we have got all these information which is required, and now it is telling me, does it looks accurate? And if I'm confirming whether it all looks correct to me and whatever application that I have built looks correct, I can just say yes and hit next. See, this is like still we human being are in loop while we do all these operation. And now the front end test plan kicks in, which means now it is going to generate a test plan for my front end application. This is amazing, right? Because we need to now run the testing. So it needs a test plan before it's doing that. So this is where it is going to generate a test plan for my entire application, which is going to be like the product requirement documentation. So that now it is generating a product requirement documentation, PRD, which is going to be helpful for our testing, or maybe it holds all the test cases which are required for testing our application. So I'm just going to wait for the PRD file to be generated. And now it looks like the PRD file is generated. Let's go and see, where is that? Yeah, there we go. We have got some details like a standard prd.json file. It has got the employee management application. The version is 1.0. It has just given some name, generated by software development manager, which is awesome. I think there's a software development manager there. They're just thinking that way. And now it has got all the different things over here. And I'm going to hit continue. So this is not the actual test plan yet. This is just the PRD documentation for the TestSprite to understand the application, because your product specification may not contain all the information, but now this product specification or product documentation which the TestSprite has generated is even more comprehensive. That's what that really comes over here in this particular JSON file. So let me try to see what's really happening. See, now it's doing a tool call. Now it is running the front-end test plan for me. I'm just going to wait, just hand tight to see what exactly is really going to happen there. So it is running generating the front-end test plan for me. There we go. So it has generated a front-end test plan for me over here. And look at that. It has contained all the test cases for my application. So test case 1 with these information, test case 2 with this information, test case 3 like access restrict employee without the authentication, and then test case 4 add a new employee, test case 5 add a new employee with invalid or input data, and test case 6 edit the existing employees, and then test case 7 delete an employee record, Test case 8, real-time search and filter of the employee list. Test case 9 is the theme toggle between light and dark mode. Do you see? I just told you that there's a dark mode and light mode testing that we need to do. It's also there. There is a log off functionality, API error in the backend, and then there is a protected route enforcement with the client side routing, view details of the employee information. See, basically it's doing all of the different kinds of combinations of testing for me, and also has got the steps like what it is going to do, like actions, assertions and stuff. And now the last operation, once we think that this is pretty good and we are happy with this particular test plan that it has generated, and now I'm going to say, all right, looks all pretty good. And now it is going to run the code. It's going to generate the code and then execute this entire thing for me. So I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to let the MCP server to go and generate the code for me and then start running the test. Look at that. It is going to do all of these magics for me right now. I'm going to hit continue. And you will see that the TestSprite test execution command is going to start running it. And good thing is this time it is actually running by doing a tunneling operation for me. So it's basically it's tunneling everything. And now it is running entire things for me over there. And you'll also notice that it has got a folder, like you see that the temp folder, so it's going to go and put those test cases for me in the particular folder as well. I will show you how that actually pans out once the test execution is done. But right now the test is currently executing. So there is like 0 of 4 and it is doing things over here. And if I just go to our TestSprite MCP server test this time, or MCP test this time, you should see that there is going to be some test running for us over here. Look at that. It's all running the employee form new, and they are running all the tests for me. And you see that now there is a progress happening. So 3 of 9 tests are currently running. And there is one test has got passed, like access restrict to employee list without authentication. So there is a test which has been executed. And we have also got the window which shows how the test is currently being executed. Look at that. It's going to show us what exactly has happened there. So basically it's just to see whether the access is happening there or not, which is really happening, which is pretty good. And I'm going to see user login with a valid login credential. So it's going to enter the admin and password. And look at that, it has logged in, which means it is working fine. So it is really happy with that. The test has got passed. And if I'm going to go to another test, probably add a new employee with a valid data. And if I'm going to run that over here, and you will see that there is going to be the user's details are being added, which is fabulous. It's working. It's also verifying everything as if like a human being, really, right? And we have not really told any of the locators or any of the things so far ever, and everything is taken care. The test case generation is all taken care by the TestSprite MCP. There is no whatever code that we have to pass in exists there. Everything is just happening with the power of the TestSprite MCP, which is fabulous. I'm going to just wait for this entire test to complete because this is something I need it to happen, because I will also show you how you can run this entire test and also help you fix the application issues if there exist any. So let me just wait for that to really happen, because you see that over here it says the user login with an invalid credential. It just failed for some reason, and you see that while I enter the wrong username and password, it still logs in because it says the invalid credential failed to show the error message and incorrectly navigated to the protected page, stopping further testing and reporting the issue directly. So it's pretty much like a human being, where it tells us that it's not going to do any more testing because this scenario has already failed for me, which is fabulous. So it has did that testing for me. Let's wait for the entire test to complete. And in the meantime, you can also check the progress over here, like how this is really going through for us over here. There we go. And you can see that the test execution has completed. And if I'm going to go to the progress over here, looks like the test has been executed and we have got some results coming up over here. And in the meantime, you can also notice that in the left-hand side, we have got all the different tests which are being generated by the TestSprite using the playwright over here. See, so we can just go and check in this code, or maybe we can even fix the code if you really think that there is a test code issue, which I don't really think there is. And you can also do those operation over here. So now we have got the entire thing, which is pretty cool. And now I'm going to say, looks like the test execution is complete. And I'm going to hit enter. And what is going to basically happen is pretty much like you are chatting with the test sprite over here. So it's going to go and check the background terminal's output, whether there is this execution really happened. So it is going to read the test sprite tests folder right now. Excellent. It has said that the test execution is complete. There are totally 14 test cases executed, and there is this test result.json over here, which is this one. So it is reading this particular file for me over here. And now guess what? You can also generate the based on this particular report, it can also generate a test report for me, which can be even more handy for us to understand how this particular report is going to look like. So let's wait for the comprehensive report to be generated by the TestSprite MCP server for me. There we go. As you can see that we have got the TestSprite MCP test report being generated. And now if I'm going to go to the TestSprite MCP server, which is this particular MD file, you can see that it has got all the informations over here. So you can actually copy this MD file and then go to the markdown preview viewer over here. Actually did that before as well. That's the reason why you can see that. And you see that it has got all the different test cases that we just executed. And it shows why they are passing, why they are failing, and there is also the URL, which is going to take you directly to that particular report. So it has got all those informations over here. And now we know there are some failures happening because of the application, because it's not really showing some of the issues, like wrong password is also expected to fail, but it is actually working. And similarly, there is an employee update API failure. So it's going to give you a backend endpoint running 404 for the employee update. Look like that is failing as well. And there is a missing error handling, like no user feedback for API failures. So these are the 3 failures that the TestSprite has actually found it for us. Like we did not find it. TestSprite has went ahead and found those issues for you. Like how you can fix these issues right now? Guess what? You can ask TestSprite to do that. Now, can you help me fix all these issues which you have found? And I'm going to run that. Now, what is going to happen is now with the power of the Claude Sonnet 4 model and with the power of the TestSprite MCP server, they're going to be fusing together. And now they are going to interlink and start talking with each other, understand what exactly is the problem and how we can really fix this particular issue. Now they both are going to talk with each other, and then they are going to be useful for you to fix those issues. See that now it has found the first issue, which is the fixed authentication logic, which is the high priority. So it is going to go and fix that particular issue for me in the server.js file. And similarly, it's going to go a level further to go and fix the second issue. See that the first issue, it has got this particular fixing for me over here. And because I have just made this intentionally to make it fail, and now it is actually doing that for me over here, which is fabulous. And now the second issue, the fix the front end login error, which is also been taken care. So it's been fixed as well. And third issue, fix the post login navigation, which is also been fixed. So look at that. Now everything is taken care for me, and every issues is being fixed right now. And the issue 4 is also been fixed over here, which is quite amazing. So everything is taken care for us over here. So this is the future state of how the testing is going to really happen, right? Like you're going to run the test with just few commands, and then the TestSprite is going to do those testing for you by really working on your local machine's application and then running it on the TestSprite cloud to make it that happen. And then it's going to find the issues, report it back to your machine's code. It's going to have all the test cases and things. And then you can use that particular report to then fix your application's issues by yourself, like not even developer required. And then it is going to fix those things for you. So this is how the power of the MCP servers are going to come in picture in the future state. And this is the TestSprite 2.0 with the power of the MCP server, which can do all these operations for you. I mean, this issue is going to keep on fixing right now. I'm not going to show you a demo like how these issues have been fixed, but I'm telling you, honestly telling you that this has already been working amazing. It has already fixed all the issues. And now if we try to run this particular code, it is just going to work fine without any issues. But overall, this is how you can see the power of TestSprite MCP server comes in for you to help you do your testing of your application, run the test, and then fix the applications issue without writing even a single line of code. And one more time, just to re-insist, this TestSprite MCP server is also one of the highly available or highly searched product and recognized product in the product hunt. So if you just go to the TestSprite over here, you see that this particular tool is the #1 product of the month in the product hunt website. So which means it's pretty evident that this particular TestSprite is been highly recognized, and it's #1 on this launched week. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for clicking the link in the affiliate link below. It's been very, very helpful for me and you to get a 1-month free trial. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. Catch you in the next one.